Hello, Internet! So I'm Malik Aaron, and the month of May is over! So now I decided I should do a recap of all the movies that came out this month. And looking back on it, I I'm a terrible I'm terrible at box office predictions because pretty much every single one of these movies I got wrong. The majority of them I overestimated, but some of them I underestimated. I don't think there's a single one that I think maybe one that reached my level of expectations. So we're gonna go through all of these, and I know you're like, well, what about Endgame? You did a prediction for that. Yeah, that overperformed. Obviously, I thought it was gonna be a Dark Knight Rises situation where it'll open about as big but fall harder, and it did fall harder, but it opened much, much, much bigger. So it's a winner, definitely. It'll no doubt be the biggest movie of 2019. Nothing will beat it. So let's look over the entire month of May. So this is the box office for May. As of right now, okay, some movies just came out like on the last day of May, so it's going to take some time for them to make their money. But let's look at what we got now. Aladdin. Okay, Aladdin, the movie that, oh, dang it. The movie that everyone roasted for months, with CGI, blue CGI Will Smith, right? And I thought after Dumbo, I'm like, this movie might be in trouble. This movie might underperform. Well, nope. No one cared because the movie opened to 91.5 million for the 3 day and 116 million for the 4 day. For its second weekend, it only dropped like 54%, which is pretty good for a post-holiday weekend. It's made 185 million so far domestically. It's made about 445 million over worldwide so far. It'll probably get to 600, 700 million range, which would be very good for a movie that costs 183 million dollars. So for those saying, "Oh, the Disney live action remakes, they're dying." Well, they're not. This proves that they're not dying. At least not yet. And we still got Lion King and Maleficent 2 and Mulan coming out. So overall, but Dumbo was a bit of a stumbling block. It was just a bit of a stumble, but right now they're getting back on track, making money, and then they're going to see even more remakes, because that's how it works in Hollywood. So Aladdin, you overperformed in my book. So Aladdin overperformed. Gotta go back to here. Next up, we got Detective Pikachu. Admittedly, my expectations were a little too high for Detective Pikachu. I underestimated how much Endgame was going to devour the market. But for a video game movie, it did very well for itself. If we look at video game adaptations, it's number 2. It will be number 1. Granted, not because, if we exclude inflation, it'll be number 1 here. So that's a victory within itself. It's made close to 400 million worldwide. That's pretty good. Overall, this is a win. Not as big as a win as I thought it was going to be, but it's still a victory. So yeah, that's Detective Pikachu. Next up, John Wick 3. This actually overperformed. I thought this would open between 40 and 45. End up opening at 56. So there's a lot more of a fandom than I thought with John Wick. Sure, it's been falling a bit hard, but it's already passed its predecessor after 2 weeks, so what's the problem? So, yeah, John Wick Chapter 3. I mean, I saw the movie. Great movie. I also saw Detective Pikachu. That's pretty good, too. This is a great movie. Deserves to be successful. And we will get John Wick Chapter 4. Hopefully, that doesn't fall into the hole that a lot of fourth installments like to fall into. Like, where you're just like, okay, is this getting forced? Is this forced? I mean, the third movie, it ended in a way that immediately set up another one. But hopefully, the fourth movie's good when it comes out 2021. Will I watch it? Definitely. So yeah, John Wick 3, you are a winner. Godzilla, okay, to the loser side. I know people gonna think, oh, you're so harsh. How can you go Godzilla, King of Monsters, a loser? It's only been out for like a weekend. And I know that's a bit early to call it a loser, but let's be real. Let's be real. Okay. Let's look at Godzilla. This is the last movie. 2014 Godzilla, right? the one that got like a mixed reaction, opened to $93 million. 93. It's open at 49. If you do your math, that's only a little more than half of the first. That's terrible. That's a terrible number, because sequels are supposed to either do better, do on par, or do slightly lower, or retain a majority of its predecessor's audience. When you're dropping by half, that's a problem. That is an absolute problem. And it barely opened higher than the 1998 Godzilla, a movie that came out 21 years ago. That didn't have 3D, didn't have IMAX, didn't have all these premium screens. That's bad. It's bad. I know you're probably like, oh, you're just a hater. You're just a hater. You just hate Godzilla. I don't hate Godzilla. I love the 2014 movie. Okay, 1998 Godzilla, that thing sucks. And I haven't seen King of Monsters. I will. I'll see it. I've heard pretty things about it. I mean, people are like, well, it's for the fans. It's for the fans. If it's for the fans, if the fans love it so much, then why aren't they showing up to see it? Please explain that. So if I were Warner Brothers, I'd be worried about Godzilla vs. Kong. I'd be very worried, because if King of Monsters couldn't even match Kong Skull Island. And let's look at that. The Monsterverse, as they call it. Kong Skull Island opened to 61 million. And this couldn't even match that. Heck, it's barely more than the first Pacific Rim from 2013. So, Warner Brothers, what are you doing? You've screwed up so many franchises, all your cinematic universes. You screwed up DC, you screwed up Lego, you screwed up Fantastic Beasts, now you're screwing up King Kong, Godzilla. What is your problem, Warner Brothers? What are y'all doing? Like, seriously. And this probably will only make, like, what, 400-ish million worldwide? Maybe, if it has, like, good to decent legs, but who knows at this point. Yeah, Godzilla King of Monsters, our first L on the list. Our first loser on the list. In the grand scheme of things, it's a loser. Another loser. The Intruder. It didn't do as well as I thought. Out of all the losers, at least all the mid-budget losers, this one did the best, but that's not saying a whole lot. It only made $34 million. That's just kind of That would do a little bit better, but considering its budget was cheap, it did fine, but it didn't do as well as I thought. So it's a loser in my category, in my opinion. The Hustle. This did a little better than I thought it was going to do. I thought this movie was going to be a complete bomb. It wasn't quite a bomb, but it wasn't a hit either, so it's in that weird middle ground. So I'd call this medium. I give it the meh, the mixed. It's not a hit, but it's not a flop either. Well, I guess in the grand scheme of things, it is a flop, because 33 million, that's not really good. So it's a loss. The Hustle is a loss. Okay. And that's The Hustle. Long Shot. What happened? This movie, I thought it would be decent counter-programming, but nope. All counter-programming this summer has just failed, with the exception of Rocket Man and Ma. But Long Shot just bombed. It just died. Only 29 million total, 42 million worldwide. This is a bomb. I'm sorry. If you love this movie, good, good for you. But this movie's a failure. It's a failure. It's a flop. All right. No denying that. So this is another loss. Rocket Man. This just came out. So I can't really make much of a judgment on it so far. I mean, in terms of its budget, it probably will break even. It will make a profit. I forgot what I predicted for. I thought it would make like 30 million. It didn't. Only made like 25, which is like half of Bohemian Rhapsody. But I know Bohemian Rhapsody is PG-13, bigger advertising, bigger hype. I get it. I can't compare those two directly, but yeah, this is clearly just straight up in the medium category. It's not a real hit, but it's not a flop either. It's in that middle ground. At least a lot more than The Hustle. Ugly Dolls. Who honestly thought this movie was a good idea? Whoever thought this was a good idea should have been fired. It should have been fired because this movie made no money. Look at this, 19 million, 45 million budget. This movie lost money. And they thought it would be a brilliant idea to release this a week after Endgame. Well, friggin' it backfired on them. So, yeah. This movie was a bad idea. Whoever thought it was a good idea should be fired. Or they probably were fired after its opening weekend. So, yeah. This is definitely a loss. Ugly Dolls. Let's keep going, because it only gets worse from here. Trust me. Dog's Journey. I guess people are just sick of dog movies now. They've had too many. They oversaturated the market. And what's funny is that this came out the same weekend as John Wick Chapter 3, which is a series that all started because some criminal decided to kill John Wick's dog. So I thought that was really funny. But what happened? This movie's only made 18 million so far. Like the first one, which came out like January, opened to 18 million in its first weekend alone. This isn't even gonna make half. It's a fraction of its predecessor. So, like, yikes. Another loss. Ma. This is its first weekend, so I can't really judge it. It's already a hit, technically. It only cost like $5 million. So, it's fine. I would consider it a moderate win, a decent-ish win. But I would consider it a win in the grand scheme of things. Booksmart. I had a feeling this movie was going to struggle. I had a feeling this movie was going to struggle for a long time. And I was right. Because it's only made 14 million so far after 2 weeks. That's obviously not good. And yeah, and I remember they were trying to push this movie so hard online. They're pushing it so hard on social media, on Instagram. But guess what? The Instagram audience didn't show up. Okay? They just didn't. Just because someone, clicks on a hashtag, someone puts in a hashtag, doesn't mean they're going to fully support it. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm trying to remember. I remember an internet historian made a video about Coney 2012, like 4 million hashtags. And yet barely, I don't even think 10,000 people participated. So, hashtags mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. They mean absolutely nothing. Particularly with box office. So yeah, Booksmart is an L. It's a failure. Flop. Next up, Brightburn. This is one geek-related movie that just did not pan out at all. So Brightburn, despite having James Gunn's name all over it, it bombed, only making 14 million. Sure, it only cost 6 million, so technically it will make a small profit, but the whole premise of the movie is evil Superman. You think more people will be interested in it, but apparently not. And its second weekend, my God, look at that. Minus 70.5%. So even the fans didn't like it. So this movie is a loss in the grand scheme of things. It's a loss. Alright, but you're like, well, how come Ma is a victory, but this isn't? Ma opened well. This didn't, okay? This won't even make past 20 million domestically. And it'll probably make 40 million total. Maybe less than that. Who knows? But, yeah. This is bad. It's a loss. Finally, oh wait, not finally. We got a couple more. Palms. I thought this would do decent. I thought this would be a decent Mother's Day movie. Apparently not. Because no one saw it. Not even the moms, not even the grandmas saw this movie. Only made 13 million total. That's... I thought it would make 10 million opening weekend at most. It couldn't even reach that overall. It's just... Why? I don't even know what to say. And then finally, last and certainly least... The Sun is also a star. I thought this movie would make 5-ish million, 5 to 10 million opening weekend. I was like, this movie should have gone straight to Netflix. It should not have been in theaters. And I was right. Because this didn't even make 5 million total. Look at that. It made 2.5 million overall opening weekend. That's horrible. That's appalling. Like Warner Brothers, who distributed this. What are you doing? Seriously, I don't know what's going on back there, but you need to get your act together. And you need to get, because Disney's over here dominating. All right, they are just killing you right now. I mean, everyone thought, Detective Pikachu was going to be the biggest movie of May, or Godzilla would be. Nope. Aladdin. Disney. #1. So, Warner Brothers, get it together. Stop acting stupid. Stop making dumb decisions and just make movies that will actually do blockbuster business. Because let's be real, Lego Movie 2 bombed. Shazam underwhelmed for a modern day superhero movie. It underwhelmed overall. Detective Pikachu did fine. Godzilla King of the Monsters underperformed. Sun is also a star. Forget about it. So, I know you got Shaft coming up. I know you got Annabelle Comes Home coming up. So those might do fine because they're like the kind of low budget, like mid-range movies. But you need to work on your blockbusters because you're not doing very well in the blockbuster department. You really aren't. So, yeah. That's my mini rant about Warner Brothers. So, yeah, this is May. Definitely not what I thought it was going to be. Because a lot of movies just died. Like, a lot of the mid-range movies, the smaller movies just died this month. The only movies that did somewhat well are, like, the big movies. Minus Godzilla. So, yeah, like, wow. What a shocking month this was. So, next month, I already did all my predictions for that. Hopefully it won't be as bad. I mean, I'm probably going to fail with my Toy Story 4 prediction because I heard the pre-sales for that thing are just insane. So, like, yikes. So, what did you think of May? How many of these movies have you seen in May? Like, if you did do your little predictions for May, how many did you get right? How many did you get wrong? Did you do as badly as me? Let me know in the comments. So, yeah, make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment. I have 2 box office predictions, lined up, the blockbusters and the not blockbusters. I have to finish my not blockbusters. I have a ton of those already filmed that I'm going to put up relatively soon, hopefully. So, yeah, that is all, and I am out.